Hi guys, thank you for joining me out here on the test stand to run the Enya SS45 that I just rebuilt. This is going to be the first run of this engine. I just mounted it and took it out here. And I also was able to find the missing muffler in a box of other mufflers and other parts that I got with the bulk purchase that I bought from Brittany in Glastonbury, Connecticut. You can look at my previous video where I rebuilt this engine, replaced the bearings, and cleaned everything up. I didn't clean the muffler because it really wouldn't affect performance, and I thought that classic fuel line exhaust tip really added a lot of character, so I'll leave that on for now and the hose clamp there. All that extra added weight really won't hurt it, especially here on the test stand. I'm running a little bit of 10% with added castor, some old fuel that's probably 25 years old. I think Power Master brand. So we're probably running close to 25% nitro. Gave it a few primes there just by covering up the carb. So I was hoping this would have been enough, but it did wet my thumb there. So I think it was enough, but not quite. It's not really popping over. So I'll have to go ahead and give it the old tank squeeze type of prime. So I'll just block off that line and squeeze it a little bit till it comes out of the carb. As you can see, it just a little bit came out, so we're good to go. I put an old Top Flite classic propeller on here. It looks like it's going to turn out all right, probably around 11.5 pitch. Hold on to your ears, we're going to start. After the prime, it started out pretty darn good. Just, 5 or 6 flips after the tank prime. And it started up pretty good. Here I am, I'm running it extremely rich just because of the fresh rebuild. I want that ring to seat properly. Here I'm just doing a little fine-tuning in the needle just to see where I can get the RPMs to. I'm not trying to push the engines by any means. I just want to get it running. Get a good long rich run in here to get everything all set within the motor. I'm thinking probably, 2 or 3 rich runs. I'll probably fly the first couple times when I put it on the airplane. Run it a little rich just to get it broken in. I then accelerated the video here at 2.5 times. That's why you notice the little pitch was up more. I wanted to do the whole engine run in one uncut clip. I'm just checking the throttle response here to see how well it throttles up and down. If you see some drips form in between the front and rear housing, it might be because we don't have a gasket in between the two. The gasket fell apart during the rebuild, or it could be coming out of the joint between the muffler and the engine. That also doesn't have a gasket, so it could come from either place. Luckily, during the video, if you watch it, it drips only like 8 or 9 times, so it's not like it's oozing fuel or oil out of the bottom of the motor and going to get all over the front of the plane, or just not run properly because of the air leakage. So I think I should be all right with that there. As you can see, it's a somewhat cold day. Probably a little close to 40 degrees. The snow's starting to melt there in the background. Sun helps a lot around this time in March for a good run. I'm going to slow it down here so we can take a look at the exhaust. How the oil comes out of the extension tube there and it hits all those fibers for the reinforcement for the fuel line there. Kind of drips off of it, pretty cool. Fuel's probably going down pretty fast here because I'm running it really rich and it's a high oil content, so fuel goes down pretty quick. I did get around 12 minutes out of this run, so it was a pretty good run. I was happy with it in terms of the fuel consumption, so This tank is about normal size for a trainer. You know, a trainer might have a little bit bigger than this tank, so it would be a good 15-minute run at full throttle. So this should be an alright motor for a trainer or any other type of 40 size plane. Everything looks straight while it's running. Slight vibration, anything normal from a nice 2-stroke motor like this. Here I am just fidgeting, adding throttle, taking the throttle away. I think I'm going to mount this plane on mount this engine on a Easy Sport 40 airplane trainer plane that I'm just finishing up rejuvenating. This would be a good test for this motor, just to get it some airtime. This should have way more than enough power. You know, those trainer planes can run on a 35 sometimes, so this will be perfect for it. I just needed the snow to melt because we just got another foot of snow up there at the house. So, gotta wait for the snow to melt before we can get flying in. Now I'm going to give you guys full sound again with the engine noise. Here's just the last of the tank of fuel here. I gave it some throttle just to see how well it peaks out at. I didn't bring my tack out, but I should have, just to get an RPM check. But overall, I'm just happy the way it's running. And I didn't really want to peak it out anyway because I want to run it rich, and we can always do that at a later time. So, well, that was a good run. I'm going to add some after run oil to it and put it on that airplane. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.